Hey, what's going on, good people? We're back once again with 3 and Out, brought to you by My Garage Bar, MyGarageBar.com, and, of course, Disruption Network. Yeah. Been a crazy day over here, man. I feel like I've been living at the D today. They're probably going to start charging me rent in a little while. And either tell me to get out or pay up, man. So, yeah. Let me bring in you guys, because we got a full show tonight. We got to hit this right up. And look at these beautiful people.
Hey.
You are not Megan White. Oh, we got everybody's name from last week up there.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I'm not Princess Leia tonight either.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh,
here comes Z's. He's coming. Look at up there. Yeah.
Ew.
Oh, boy.
You see what happens when Todd doesn't show up?
Yeah. All hell breaks loose.
I'll be Erica
We
and
don't
Megan.
know. Am I Ray Pardee tonight?
You're both.
Yeah.
I'm both right now. I'll take it, actually.
The role of Ray
Yeah.
Pardee will not be played by Jamie Austin.
Exactly. Look, I've known Ray a very long time, so I might as well act like him or be him, if you will.
Look at that. Z jumped right in, took care of it. We're back on the show.
Back on the
There you
show.
go.
We're rolling right along again, yeah. Anyways, Jamie Austinette, what's happening, my friend?
Not much, man. Good times. Loving life.
Yeah?
Typical stuff.
Yeah, you know, we talked a little bit about the Washington Capitals today.
Yes.
On All Pucked Up, and
Yes.
I missed having you, sir.
I know. It was a sad moment for me, too.
Yeah.
Because I got to the point of that show earlier to where you said Washington Capitals. I wept a little and then had to shut it off because I didn't have enough time to finish it.
Were you in surgery?
Yes. Yeah, I was listening to it at work. I'm like, I gotta go. I can't actually like get really involved. But
Yeah. I would love
my
to
boys are
listen-
playing well, man.
Yeah.
They're playing really well.
Yeah. Oh, that must be Todd.
Yeah.
It's great because while we're doing things here, like the screen's just moving.
He's fixing things.
He's fixing
He's
things
fixing
from New Hartford. He's
Yeah,
actually doing
he's
Thanks,
here.
Todd.
He's here even when he's not, and that's why he's a wonderful person.
Mother, sister's always watching. There you go. Anyways,
Sweet.
so you're right. They are playing good hockey, man.
Oh, yeah.
And the big conversation, the topic of today was contenders and pretenders, and of course the Capitals were pretenders.
Oh, yeah. They're 11-2-3. They're not. Yeah, they're not pretending about anything.
No. Erica Moss, what's happening?
Hey.
Yeah.
I am no longer Princess Leia.
You are not. But you know what? I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Your dad he's become a faithful
I think
viewer.
so, yeah. He was asking me when we were going. We're live now, Dad.
Yeah.
Check us out now.
There you go.
It has been a crazy day today, so I had myself a nice glass of wine. I hope it relaxes me, and we're good to go.
I knew it was a stressful day because when you walked in here, you said you need something to drink.
I do, and I don't normally do that, so except for last week.
You poured yourself a nice glass of wine and lemonade.
Yes.
Yeah, just a splash.
Last week's an exception, though.
Last week was a
holiday
party
special.
show.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be.
It was a party show. I think we did very good last week.
did.
And
We had
speaking
fun.
of very good last week, Mr. Ray Nation, what's happening?
Yo, what's going on? How are you?
Yeah.
Denver won, so it's a good week.
And this tells you how serious we are about Ray being right on the ball. I sent you that message last night that said, what did it say? Like,
Missed it.
no, you answered me. It said like Dallas.
Oh, wait. I said Dallas -7, right? And then I wanted, I told somebody I felt bad in the bar to take the over, and then right last second he's like, no, the under. I was like, okay, yeah. And of course the over hit.
The over hit.
Stupid fumble.
Of course
at the
it
end of the
did.
game. And they didn't review it when the flag was drawn. That was terrible, dude.
Well, we walked into like Joe Tahan's Furniture last night and buying a new couch, and the guy who sold it to us he's trying to make some conversation with us, and he says, "Yeah, I just put some serious money down on Dallas." And I said, "Really?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, but I don't know if it's a safe bet." And I said, "Hold on, I got a guy."
I got a guy.
But I told everybody,
We always
man,
have a guy.
-7 was the way. I mean, the Giants. I'll get into that later, but the Giants, they're bad. So
What are you trying to say, man?
That's funny.
So we should get right into it. Like I said, we got a ton of stuff to talk about, and I want to make extra time because you know what our first topic of conversation is tonight?
Yeah.
Come on, give it to me, guys. I've been waiting for 10 weeks for
Sure.
it.
It's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Pittsburgh
Yeah.
Steelers. Yes. man.
All our teams won this week.
Yeah, it's
Did
true.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
oh, they did.
Yeah, they did.
How did that happen?
This is only the second time that's happened. Probably won't happen again. So
Yeah, that might be it.
enjoy this moment.
Suck it up. Suck it up.
This is not happening.
Come to
again.
think of it, even one of our alternates in Raymond Pardee His Dolphins.
Even the
won.
Dolphins.
The Dolphins
His
did
Dolphins
win, yeah.
won.
I had a really bad day on
Yeah.
Saturday, though. We don't want to talk about that, but Sunday made up for it, I guess.
Oh my God, I've been listening about the Gators losing for.
It's all right.
It's never going to stop.
It's all right. Just end the season 10-2. We'll be good.
There's always a positive spin.
There's a positive.
Okay.
They got a bowl game coming.
That's right.
So the first thing I want to talk about when we're talking about Pittsburgh is this game. I had a feeling. I knew they were going to win against the Colts. I knew it. I didn't really know, but I suspected they might. Now they're 4-4 right now in the division, and I got to tell you, man, I was really, really, really confident that put them right back in the playoff hunt. Mm-hmm. Baltimore 1-2. They somehow pulled that off against New England. Actually, I can't even say somehow.
I was going to say it's
That
more
was a
of
beatdown.
They made
They put it on them. Yeah.
Yeah,
a shellacking.
that was quite a shellacking in that first half. I mean, they were running all over them,
Yeah.
willy nilly, as they say. I want to talk about what you think this did to that playoff picture. First of all, I mean, obviously Pittsburgh now 4-4. Do they have a legitimate shot? Did this really thrust them back into the middle of things? Moss, I'm going to let you go first.
I think they always have a shot at the playoffs. I think as long as they're right on the cusp, that they have a chance, because it's always, for years and years and years, it's always come down to that final game of the season. And if it gets down to that, then I always consider them to be right there in the mix.
Yeah.
It didn't help with Baltimore winning. I really could have liked to. I can't even say, you know how hard that was to watch that game, and you know how hard it was to say, I'm not rooting for the Patriots. I'm rooting for Baltimore to lose. There's a huge difference.
You did tell that to a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Too.
They go, how can you root for the Patriots? Like, I'm not rooting for the Patriots. But in Pittsburgh's fans, we really need Baltimore to lose the game.
Yeah.
So that took a little bit of a beating with playoff hopes, but I still think there's a chance. And even if it doesn't come through the division, they're still right there for the wild card.
Yeah. I was actually kind of shocked, when they put the graphics on the game and it says, like, here's your division leaders, here's your wild cards, and here is your in the hunts. And Pittsburgh, sitting at 4-4 after starting the season 0-3, is
In the hunt.
top.
Yeah, and especially beating the Colts, because that was that's going to be
one.
Yeah,
that's going to be somebody that's right there. Jacksonville losing, Cleveland just tank, so that's not even a question. The Chargers, unfortunately, Chargers and Raiders are going to be right there too. The Bills are probably a shoo-in for that one wild card spot. Maybe they'll take over the division though.
That would be nice.
That'd be good.
I'd see that. I'd like.
But then
to
we
see
have
that.
to. Then you got the Patriots
got
and the
the
wild
Patriots
card.
to deal
So
with.
either way, you're going to have the Patriots.
Equal.
Well, let me ask Ray, because Ray's going to get in this conversation. Obviously, your wild card predictions on this is Pittsburgh. Are they going to somehow squeak into that wild card?
It's going to be tough, man.
Yeah.
They could. They're definitely. I would say it's got to go between Pitt and Indy, because I would imagine Houston's going to win their division. So yeah, they got a chance. I'm looking at the schedules, and they can. I mean, they need to win. I'd say 10 games. So they got to go 6 or 10-6 for the season. I think 10-6 is what you're going to need to get in the wild card. Anything less than that, and then you're not making the playoffs. So
I mean, as I look at that division, obviously since he's gone,
they're
gone. They've been out since the beginning of the year.
Cleveland's done too. They're not going 8-0 in the next half. So.
No, and they've still got some brutal games left ahead of them.
Yeah.
So that is not looking like
That has to be the biggest disappointment this year is Cleveland. I mean, I had high hopes for them.
I said from the get-go.
I thought. I mean, they had so many weapons. I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
Do you remember that very first show? I think we actually came in on the
D line. Yep.
And I said on that show, you're going to see one of two things. If they don't go to the playoffs, you're going to be looking at those big name stars. They're going to be looking for their numbers. And if they're not getting their numbers and they're not going to the playoffs, that team has a huge potential to self-destruct.
And they are.
Powder keg.
You can see it right now.
Odell Beckham had a meltdown the other day.
Yeah.
They just released a player.
Who they released?
Was it Whitehead?
Yep.
I forgot.
Because he was running his mouth on Twitter, right?
I apologize for his first name.
Twitter rant
Oh,
like
dear.
That's a disaster.
It's pretty nasty. It was pretty much yelling at fans for the most part, and it was vulgar to say the least, if not violent. On top of that, they released him the day after. So,
well, good for them for that. I mean, that was good.
Yes,
They stood up and
you stand up.
I mean, if he was like an important piece, I don't think he would have got released. They probably would have fined him and suspended him, but he's bad. So they were like, all right, let's just get rid of the guy.
Can I give a shout out to Steve McNally, our Pittsburgh fan?
Yeah, is he watching?
He's saying that we could easily be 6-2, but so we're still in the hunt.
If we want to go on that, definitely
Listen,
should be 6.
I have to say something. Yeah. Okay. You look at the Steelers; they're 4-4. Let's break down those 4 teams that they lost to: New England, San Fran,
both leading their division,
Baltimore,
leading their division,
and Seattle, and they were very close in that Seattle and San Fran, and even in the Baltimore game, they were right there in that game. New England, it's a different story, but so it's not horrible. They really could have won at least 2 more of those games. I totally agree with you, Steve. Thank you.
There you go.
I don't know if they have a like a deep run playoff team this year, because that whole Roethlisberger injury right off the bat, that took a lot of the win out of the sails. It really did.
You know what the Steelers fans aren't seeing? That's why we're saying that is because you don't have that explosive offense that we're used to seeing with Roethlisberger. So you automatically assume, you know what? They're not blowing out games, which they've never really blown out games. But you don't have that. 2 minutes left. They're down by 6 points, and you're like, oh, it's Roethlisberger. There's no point. There's no doubt that he'll get a touchdown. I have all the faith in the world.
Yeah.
You don't have that faith anymore, but at the end of the day, a W is a W. Even if it comes from Vinatieri screwing up, a W is a W.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
See,
so who cares?
My concern with Pittsburgh is all the other teams you named, when you name Seattle and San Fran and New England and even Baltimore, they have named players that you go to like that. Who is that on Pittsburgh? Because you want to say Juju Smith, right? But your number one guy can't get 4 targets. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How does he only get I would throw the ball at least 15 times to him. I don't even care if he misses. Just throw the ball in his direction. He's athletic. Let him make a shot.
Yeah.
He should not get 4 targets. That's crazy. I don't understand what you're doing with the ball if he's not getting targets, because who else is there?
There was a lot of talk this season. I remember, obviously, going in, like, the whole question was, can Juju Smith-Schuster, can he be the number 1 on that team? I don't know. I really don't know anymore. I don't know if it's that Mason Rudolph he don't have that chemistry with him yet, or that maybe he doesn't. Maybe a lot of the success he was having last year was because of the receiver, what we don't talk about.
Partially.
Yeah.
Partially.
That obviously was a factor.
Yeah.
When you have to double team that guy, it makes his coverage a lot lighter.
But I mean, we just got... Not we. I don't play on the team. But the Steelers just got rid of Moncrief. I mean, that was a disaster.
God.
Yeah,
Thank God.
That was a waste.
Thank God.
Washington hasn't really developed into the big time threat.
He made some big plays this week, though.
He did. But I think Ray's right in the fact that there is really not a big name that we go to on that. And as far as running backs, Connor's hurt a lot, which kind of brings me right into my next question for you guys.
Okay.
Obviously the Jets had a little bit of a fire sale before the trade deadline, and or at least they tried. We'll talk about that in a little while. That was a failed attempt at a fire sale. Le'Veon Bell was supposedly on the market, and the rumor was that the Steelers actually tried to make a trade back for him.
Yes.
Who knows if it's true? Who the hell knows? I don't know. But if that is true, what does that say to you guys about Pittsburgh right now? Is it that they really think they could have gone on a deep run if they had somebody like Le'Veon back? Or is it they just don't have that much faith now in James Conner?
You can go.
Yeah, mercifully, it didn't happen. That is the best thing that could have happened to Pittsburgh, because look, I know he signed a weaker contract than what Pittsburgh was offering him, or at least for last year, the $15, $16, $17 million a year.
Not enough.
And now this year, sure, he's manageable by that stretch. It goes to $19 million next year. So you really want to handcuff yourself into a 4-year contract that Adam Gase was stupid enough to sign him to? You're fine. Additionally, I said this on the D-line when the best running back on the team isn't getting enough touches. It's Jalen Samuels. I said that in week 1. So give him the damn ball. I mean, anybody. But Ray's already kind of nailing it a little bit with the whole, who's that one person? Where's your target? Who you're going to go to? they don't really stick to the identity from what I'm seeing. They try. Roethlisberger goes down, you should build your team to run. Let Mason Rudolph take a few less chances. They haven't done that. They'll let him dink and dunk. And I mean, Jalen Samuels had 10 catches this past week. It's all screen passes, which they're just not letting.
Yeah, the Rudolph most catches of any player.
It's all screen passes. Stop it. You got to stop this crap right there. But going back to the whole Bell thing, as far as it goes, you ran the saga. Stop. Just if there was any truth to that, you better bury this as quick as you possibly can, because all you're doing is making it look like you made a mistake by letting him walk instead of paying him his money. Leave it alone. You should count your lucky stars that he didn't come back into Pittsburgh at that point. I know he sucks right now, but that's because the Jets suck. The line is not built for Le'Veon Bell.
Right.
And the only line that currently is, well, there's probably three, are Pittsburgh's, Dallas's, he's not going to Dallas, and arguably the Kansas City Chiefs. That's about it. There's nobody else that's built to run his style of offense. Yeah. So, true. Of course he's going to suck with the Jets. Let him suck there and let him suck the life out of that team.
The vampire orders.
I think that was a crock of shit, if you want my honest opinion. I think Le'Veon Bell was just starting something because he's jealous and he wants to go back to the team, and he's just starting to, start this crap up. But at the end of the day, Jamie's right. It's really a lot about the play calling. They've got to start running the ball more, because I do think they have talent on that team. Yeah. I know James Conner's been injured. Obviously, Benny Snell has been injured as well. But Samuels, and then I really liked what we saw out of Trey Edmonds this week. Yeah, they should have used him more in the run game. I really believe that. If they were going to use Samuel so much in the pass game, use Edmonds in the run game. Because, you got to have two brothers on a team. And
yeah, the other one's in Buffalo.
No, the other one, and they have another one that's on the defensive side of Pittsburgh.
No, exactly. And the other one,
the third one's in
Buffalo.
Yep.
But no, you're absolutely. But there's your identity. Run the damn ball. It's still the same line that was with Le'Veon Bell. Go with it. And I mean, we're talking.
And they're all healthy.
Exactly. And we were talking Mason Rudolph and what happened with Ben Roethlisberger. They're two different players. I mean, massively different players. These two. The biggest knock of Mason Rudolph coming out of Oklahoma State is he does not have the arm strength of some of the other players, some of the other quarterbacks in the league. So when you have a guy that can't really stretch the field, he's not going to throw the ball 65, 70 yards. He's not going to just go. He's just not going to do that. Just doesn't have the ability, especially in November when it's windy. So do exactly to a point what you did, I guess. The screen passes, you got to do something a little bit better than that. But use the run to your advantage. It's the same damn line. And then you could start getting these shorter to intermediate throws out of Mason Rudolph. Maybe you'll get Juju going on that one, or also you'll get James Washington, who, as you said, Moss, he had some nice plays this past week. They were intermediate at least, but at least they still opened it up a little bit at that point, which when the offenses started tanking is this dink and dunk screen pass, 2-yard little flip to a tight end or something like that. And it's predictable. Yeah. They got to stop that. They're a better team than this. Defensively, they're a better team. Offensively, they're a better team, and they got to stop that. Otherwise, they're going to fall apart, and they don't have a shot getting to 10 wins or even 9.
You can't flip the ball on 4th and 2 to
Juju.
What the hell was that? 1 yard? What was that?
That was very frustrating.
Horrible play.
Up the middle on top of that.
Yeah, it's very frustrating to watch. Let's talk about Roethlisberger a little bit, though. Obviously that injury that he had, we were talking about that before. That could have been career-ending, from what I had
pretty much
understood.
Yeah.
And I know he wants to come back. What's he got? 3 years on this contract?
I believe so.
He wants to come back and play. Everybody wants to come back.
Of course,
right? I know it hasn't been a long time that we've watched Mason Rudolph. In fact, what little time he's had has also been cut into with an injury.
Yep.
But I feel like the Steelers got really exposed for not having any real depth once that Roethlisberger went out. And I don't know. Once he comes back, if he comes back, who do you play? I mean, because otherwise I feel like you're kind of committing to making the same mistake again. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Whose team is this when Roethlisberger comes back?
It's his.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, why bring him back? Why not kind of encourage him to just go out with the injury and just, why bring him back and put him on the bench? That would be pointless.
Yeah,
Plus, I think there are plenty of teams that if Ben Roethlisberger becomes available, will gladly trade for him.
Yeah.
Because I think they know that obviously it's going to be a risk taking a guy coming off the injury, but I think he's worth that risk. I mean, he's been a very durable quarterback, and we know he's got an arm, so I would take him. I think the problem is that there's been enough to see that Mason Rudolph's not the guy. I think that experiment is over. In my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I've watched the games.
I'll tell you my opinion.
I think that it's not all Mason Rudolph's fault because obviously the best weapons for a rookie quarterback are a solid tight end and a very good run game, which right now they don't have either of. I mean, they're not terrible run game, but it's not great. And I guess, we can hypothetically say if they still had Le'Veon Bell and the other guy that you don't want to talk about, that they'd be a better team. We can argue that because there was a connection, though. I think that was just something built over years between Ben and those two.
Right.
So I don't think just plopping Mason Rudolph in with those two necessarily would keep things going, but I think it would put them in a better position than they are now.
Yeah.
But the other off-field and all the other negative stuff probably would also cause some other issues. So it was, I don't think there's really any right or wrong way to go. I mean, everybody moved on. Well, we know Brown's not in the league right now, but everybody's moved on and, is doing their own thing. And
he's doing his own thing.
He's doing his own thing. He's probably going to get in the XFL. That's coming soon.
He's too busy posting his bank account.
I mean, he did have $24 million sitting in there. So, you know what?
Could have had a lot more.
Football is not the end of his life.
No,
he's only going to be in his 30s. So,
yeah.
But neither here nor there. No, honestly, though, I think you have to, if Ben is coming back, that's your quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you see it time and time again. Just like we saw with Nick Foles coming back now this week. He was out the whole season. Gardner Minshew was phenomenal as a replacement, but he's still not the guy. So
I think I just worry about with that situation going on. If Ben comes back and you give him, you give him the reins, and then Rudolph goes back to the bench, that might be it for Rudolph. I don't know. Then, like you were saying, I don't know what you've really seen out of him so far. That's
Can I chime in on that?
Absolutely can.
So, as much as I love Ben Roethlisberger, because I've always been the biggest fan, I remember being in Heinz Field when he got drafted. I love the guy. I love him as a quarterback, but this injury might not make him the quarterback that he was before coming back. So I don't think we've given Mason Rudolph enough time. The guy played a couple game and then he got hurt. Now he's coming back. I think a lot of it is depending on the play calling, and I think that unfortunately he's not getting to show us exactly what he can do. I think they might need to give him different weapons in order to create better playmaker out of him.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that Roethlisberger. I don't think bringing Roethlisberger back, unless he comes back and he is in perfect health and he's still throwing the way he was and everything's good. But if there's anything out of him that he's not showing that he was doing before, then I think that you have to move on from him. Unfortunately, you really, really do, because it's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to be an Eli Manning situation in Pittsburgh, and I don't want to see that from Roethlisberger. I think he's shown so much and done so much for that team and that city that I would hate to see him come back and just tank.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would trade. I think if they decided that they were going to move on from him, he would retire.
Bye.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think.
I think a 75% Ben is better than 100% Mason Rudolph.
Okay.
I'm going with it. I would take Ben at 75%.
I think we should just let Mason finish off the season and see how he does.
How many games do you need to see out of a guy before you make that decision?
If Pittsburgh makes the playoffs this year, I think you got to keep Mason in.
I'm about to officially solve nothing of this argument for a reason, because I'm actually on both their sides a little bit. Yeah. All right.
You want Duck.
Yeah, I want to just flat out push this damn thing. All right. Starting with Moss, as far as this goes, she's nailing one thing. We don't know what type of Ben you're going to get, as far as coming back from that. If there's an elbow injury that actually reduces that arm strength that he has, and that's been a good staple of his career, he becomes Mason Rudolph with a different name. So there's a problem right there. He's also 37, 38 years old by the time he comes back to play. Now, to go with the other part of this, as far as the Mason Rudolph, you've seen enough of Mason Rudolph. What I really absolutely currently hate in Pittsburgh, whoever the hell is calling plays right now, it is pathetic. It really, truly is. Like, I can't hit this enough that the one problem, I think even his first start, I was sitting with you guys and said, why the hell aren't they letting him unleash a little bit?
Yeah.
Let him throw the ball. And they're like, well, he just threw a pick. It was to Dante Moncrief, which was in his chest 15 yards downfield, and he just kind of handed it over on the way through.
Yeah.
That was just a terrible, terrible pick. So have you seen enough of Mason Rudolph? Maybe, maybe not. But I've personally seen enough of the damn offensive coordinator at this point. You got to unleash it if you want to know what the hell's going to happen with Rudolph going forward. You got to figure out what you have. Worst case, I don't say like, well, move on from Rudolph permanently. He's an adequate backup, if at worst. At least he can come in and still somewhat lead a team. He's done pretty good so far. Yeah, he's gotten beaten by the teams that are better than the Steelers, but he's managed his way through some games that they should have won. And even this past week against the Colts, that's a coin flip game. So you got to give him a little bit of credit for winning a coin flip game, and it's a tight one, despite the fact that Vinatieri just absolutely shanked it. But there was a Ray Finkel moment in that one. You see how
laces out,
you see how bad the laces were in on that kick. Oh,
that was disaster.
I said it last week. Give Ken Wisenhunt a call.
Yeah,
he needs a new job.
He's free.
And she absolutely did.
He's free.
But that kick, it was great. It was slightly askew, and then he said, "No, it's not perfect enough." And he actually made the laces more centered.
Very, very. How do we say it? Vanderjack.
Yeah, Vanderjet. Yeah.
So we're running out of time for this first one, but I do want to get this question in, and that is the future of Mike Tomlin. I mean, there's probably not a safer gig for a coach to have in the NFL than Pittsburgh, but there's been rumblings. There's been a lot of rumblings, and there's an ongoing debate, especially with all the talent that's been on that team in the past few years. They probably should have done a little bit better than they have. And, I guess the question everybody always asks is, was Tomlin holding that team back, or was he actually the glue that was holding those big personalities in check? Either way, what's the future of Mike Tomlin here? Because his name has actually popped up on the hot seat a few times. So what do you guys think?
I'm a fan of continuity. I always have been. I don't like the constant carousel of NFL coaches every 3 years. It's time to reevaluate and move on, because now you're talking a whole new offense, whole new scheme, whole new everything. For Tomlin to be sent out, I would think that the entire, we'll say the skill positions, would have to change with it. That's the only way you can do it, because then you're talking about introducing a completely new offense, generally speaking, a completely new defensive scheme on top of that. But I don't think it's effective to say, well, we'll move Tomlin out, and it's still going to be, say, Mason Rudolph, James Conner, and Juju. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Something else would have to kind of go with it. It'd have to be a new quarterback, a new running back, probably keep Juju. That'd be okay. But there has to be something else to go with it instead of just, hey, new coach, it's all good now. No, that's not the way it works. I like continuity. He's done enough in the past to win. Let him keep going. That's my feeling on it, at least.
If it keeps going this way, and you see him there in 3-4 years.
If it keeps going, if they let him try to go with the kid and it's inadequate football, then of course not. I mean, but I say you got to give him a chance. And if it's playoff level football going forward over the next 2 or 3 years, then fine, yeah, you got to keep him. But this seems to be a constant thing almost every year where he's on the hot seat almost every year for some underperformed loss. It was the tie last year to Cleveland. That was like, it's time for him to go. And then now he's got injuries left and right on the offensive side of the ball, and he's somehow gotten him back to 500 with duck dodges, whatever the hell, Delvin Hodges, who actually won the damn game that he started. On top of that, but he's done it with a patchwork offense for the most part. The only consistency has been mostly the line, and for the most part, some of the receivers. But he's still got him to 500 and possibly can actually move to at least a winning record for the year, if not a playoff spot.
You guys think the same thing?
I mean, there's only like 6 coaches that'll still be there 3 years from now. So coaches get fired every year. We always see 6 or 7 changes every year. So I think that he gets a pass. He's won him a Super Bowl. They've been in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs, only twice, I think, right? 2 times?
A few times, yeah.
When you have a rookie quarterback and you're your franchise quarterback goes down, that season's kind of a wash. You don't really make any rash decisions based on that unless you're Jerry Jones, and he still keeps Jason Garrett around for some reason. So
do I have to repeat?
His judgment's going too. So no, I think Mike Tomlin will be all right. They'll turn it around, assuming you get a healthy Ben back. So
he'll get a pass. But it's funny when we always talk about he's going to be there next year. He's going to be there next year. I mean, he's already been there. What, 13 years?
Yeah.
So
for a team that's had 3 coaches since 1969, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
His job.
He's going to have to do something really, really, really bad for the Steelers to get rid of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there you go.
His job is cushy.
Show up. That's how you keep your job.
Make it there.
Moss, we didn't prep your trivia this week, but you're just going to go and you're going to do your live one right here.
I am.
Right? Do you have one for us?
I do have one for you.
Oh, you got to find it.
I have to find it. All right, I'm good.
Here we go. Going to Erica. All right. What? With you?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know.
It's all messed up.
It was supposed to go right to you. I don't know. That's all right. Go ahead and hit us with it.
Okay, so here we go with this week's Moss's Mindbender trivia question of the week. We have a Thursday night game with the Los Angeles Chargers going against the Oakland Raiders. So my question is, what city did the Chargers play their first season in? Ooh. What city did the Chargers play their very first season in? We're going to find out that answer right after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right. And we're back. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moss, you had some trivia for us before we went.
I did. My question was, what city did the Chargers play their very first season in? The answer is...
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
We had an answer. Ray Pardee said St. Louis?
Nope.
No.
Nope. The answer is Los Angeles. That's right. The Chargers played their very first season in 1960 in Los Angeles before moving the team to San Diego for the following season in 1961. The team returned to Los Angeles in 2017, and of course, they continue to play there. There it is, guys. Moss's Mindbender.
Ray said, go screw yourself.
Aw,
He
didn't say that.
No.
He didn't say that, no.
I still call him.
It's a trick
call him
question.
San Diego, so I don't care.
It was a trick question. Trick question.
They're still the San Diego Chargers.
That's a good one, though. I didn't know the answer. Well, I probably maybe knew something. I don't know. Anyways,
Okay.
So for the second half, we have to talk about the NFC playoff picture, and what a weird time this is, especially over in the NFC West.
Yep.
Right now. That's a muddled mess, we'll call it.
Yep.
Muddled mess.
A muddled mess. So, we're kind of looking at the numbers here and trying to figure out some people's or some team schedules. And I don't know. You guys help me out with this. So can we agree on at least for the 4 division winners? Maybe not. Dallas?
yes,
Maybe not.
Yeah, I think so, but Philadelphia is playing better at least.
Philly's pushing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see, and this is the thing. For the North, Green Bay?
I'd say so.
yeah, definitely Green Bay.
Okay.
It's only one game.
For the South, it's probably only
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have to talk about them?
New Orleans. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely going to win that division for sure.
And then for the West, I know they're kind of like the sexy pick right now.
Yeah.
And that would be San Fran. Yeah.
That'll tell us everything. Will tell us this week.
Seattle will win that.
Yeah.
I'm
All
going
right,
San Fran.
so let's talk about this. I mean, we have some contenders in here that we're just going to address. Jamie, you said the Eagles.
Eagles is one of them. Yeah. I personally, I think it's good enough for them to actually get above 500 this past week. They've looked a lot better the last 2 weeks than they have, in the first 7, 8, basically. And that was actually against 2 teams that were playing better defense than they were offense, in all honesty, both in Buffalo and Chicago.
Yeah.
But what Philadelphia did, and I think it was a beautiful thing to do, is lean on the run a little bit more and actually wear out the defenses a little bit better. They're using Jordan Howard, who's more of a bull, a little more of a beast, I guess you can say.
Yep.
And Miles Sanders has shown a lot of elusiveness, and he's also been great receiving the ball out of the backfield as well. That's a nice little combo that they started to do. It took a lot off Carson Wentz. Granted, Zach Ertz still had a Zach Ertz-like performance, but he hasn't had too many of those early in the season for that reason. So leaning on the run, though, has been able to open up that middle passing ground, the middle passing game with Zach Ertz. So if they continue to keep playing the way that they've been playing, defense has also stepped up quite a notch, and has really shut down the last two teams. And they could easily make a push. Dallas, I still like because they're just more of a complete team by comparison, but still, somehow Philadelphia, despite underperforming, is half a game out, and it's something to be said there. So I would think you have to win that division. You can't get in on a wild card on that one. It just seems a little too log jammed. But that would be the Philadelphia scares me a little bit if anybody does.
Yeah, I definitely don't think. I think whoever wins the division is obviously making the playoffs, but I don't think you're going to see a wild card come out of that. I think Philadelphia, if they're playing like we saw last week, is a better team than Dallas. Because I think, obviously, I've said it before, Dallas can only beat their division.
Right.
They can't beat anybody else. And if you, after seeing the first half of that game last night, they could get beat.
Yeah.
They did lose to the Jets. Let's fire that one out.
That they did lose to the Jets.
I love how they were saying last night they'd be the team to lose to the Jets and the Giants in like
span of 3 weeks or whatever. So.
But the one thing we're always saying about Minnesota, about Philadelphia too, is they always kind of go on this late season run. And somehow they're never quite out of it. But it's going to be interesting. Ray, you think they can make a run on this?
There's right now it looks like technically 9 teams fighting for 6 spots.
Yeah.
So it's still way too early to call. The only ones that I'm really confident in from the NFC right now are San Fran will make it.
Yeah.
Seattle will make it. And Dallas will make it.
Yeah. Okay.
But everything else
up in the air.
That rotation. I mean, I want to believe Green Bay will win their division.
Nobody wants that division right now. You know that,
but
right?
The Bears are awful.
Yeah.
Detroit is the utter disappointment.
Minnesota,
they look good on paper. They have the wins, but
it's amazing to me that the entire division lost this week.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah, the only division.
Nobody wants that division.
Do you know the only division where everybody won? AFC West.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That happened.
He's been waiting.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
You got to get it in there when you get a chance. Man.
Put that out there.
But what about the Rams? Do you like the Rams' chances of maybe sneaking in as a card in there? I know it's early. But.
So there's a possibility where they get 3 teams from the NFC West.
Yes.
That is a very strong possibility, and nobody would be shocked to see Seattle and the Rams get in as wild cards and San Fran win the division. But it's also tough because Minnesota could make the playoffs still. Green Bay, and then...
And the Eagles.
And the Eagles.
Well, the Rams are going to lose this week, so that'll be bad for them.
Well,
that's not happening.
Right.
I know who they're playing, and
that takes them down to.
How about everybody's forgetting about Carolina? They're like
Carolina
just sneaking,
is so trash,
but they're just sneaking, just staying right there and winning games.
Yeah,
he called them so trash.
They're trash. They're trash.
Well,
they're so
trash
bad.
Of the league.
They're a one-player game, but
let's
pretty
mark
much,
it. Through week
Christian
9, they were
McCaffrey.
6-3. They're 6-3 right now, right?
Yeah.
Carolina,
they don't get 10 wins this
5-3.
season. Mark my words. The Carolina Panthers will not go 10-6.
They shouldn't even call them the Carolina Panthers anymore. They should just call them Christian McCaffrey.
So I'm telling you right now, in their next 7 games, they're going 3-4.
Okay.
Watch.
Ray just said don't call them.
They're not getting 10 wins. And like I said, in the NFC, you need 10 to get in.
Yep.
You got to get 10. And you know what? The way these teams are playing so far, you might need 11.
True.
You might need 11, and that is a scary thought to make New England like 11-5 and not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That would suck.
I want to pitch out there to anybody who might be watching the show right now. I mean, this is just what we're guessing at. So if anybody out there wants to send us their picks, comment on there and tell us who you think is going to be the 6 teams coming out of there, your 4 division winners and your 2 wild.
Should we each give our 6 right now? What we would say right this minute?
Go ahead, Moss. You go ahead and start it.
I'm going to say Philadelphia,
Okay.
San Fran, Green Bay, New Orleans, and then wild card's going to be Seattle, and Minnesota.
Well, you just like dumped on the Cowboys.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to make it.
Which is crazy. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. How do you think you think the Eagles are better than the Cowboys?
When they're playing, bringing their A game, yeah.
I mean, they played head to head.
I don't think either team is very good, but that's just my personal opinion.
Okay, so your wild cards again? Who are
Seattle and Minnesota?
Seattle, Minnesota. All right, Jamie, who do you got?
I got to go Dallas in the East, and if not for the fact that Philadelphia, they dug themselves a hole. That's the problem. Sooner or later, it's just not going to do it. And I'm actually with Ray. Very likely, you need 11 wins. It's not the AFC. The AFC, I 100% believe the second wild card will have 9. 100% believe that. NFC is going to be scary the rest of the way through, though. But Dallas, I do like out of the East. I think Green Bay's winning their division as well. New Orleans, just because, man, now they got Drew Brees back. That's just not fair. It's a video game again. San Francisco's played great, and I think they're going to maintain that for the most part. And then it gets hazy as hell. I mean, really hazy. Minnesota, I think, is going to drop off. Unfortunately, the Adam Thielen injury. It's for him. He pulled a hamstring. 2 weeks. I want to say against Detroit, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, where he went hard into through the end zone, caught a touchdown, and then he came back and re-injured it. And that's one of those things that once you start seeing that nagging, that could really hinder their pass game a lot. So I think Minnesota's going to come back down a little bit. I do love Seattle, and Seattle could, unfortunately for them, possibly have 13 wins and not win their division. As stupid as that sounds, it's very possible. And I think that the Rams are actually going to, prove that they have enough talent. They've had it all year and have just been too inconsistent. So I do like that.
I give the Rams 3 more wins. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I give the Rams 3 more wins.
Yeah, I don't.
You're going to say 4 because
this
you're going
week?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Chicago.
They'll beat Chicago.
They'll split with Arizona. Arizona, I think, will beat them once.
See, I'll let you.
She's got a lot of
and they'll beat Dallas.
See, I actually think they'll beat Arizona both times. I think they're going to absolutely destroy the Pitt Steelers. I'm sorry. The Steelers don't have the offensive firepower to keep up.
Just wait, Jamie. Just wait.
Just wait there, mister.
And they will beat Chicago. I think the Baltimore game's a coin flip, though. Baltimore, yes,
I'd love for them to beat Baltimore, but I don't know if it's
Baltimore, I still find a coin flip team. Mostly because they played outstanding against New England the other day. Absolutely. I won't take anything away from them. It was still massively one-dimensional. It's still a lot of run. It's not saying that running can't win in the NFL. Not in 2019. Everybody said it's a quarterback league.
Yeah.
That's a load of BS. The teams that are playing the best are the teams that are running the ball. San Francisco, for example, Seattle. The teams that we are falling in love with are teams that are running the ball at a great pace. Baltimore is playing very well right now and running the ball, but Lamar Jackson, I still don't trust as a thrower when you need to play that game. So I think Baltimore currently is a coin flip game, because if you get Goff or Cooper Kupp on a 220-yard day again, I don't think you can keep up. So I find that a coin flip game. I honestly think that they only have maybe 2 losses in the rest of their schedule.
He just shouldn't have Baltimore's playbook. So,
Ray, what you got?
I think.
Well, it was in Baltimore when
I'm going to say for the NFC, it's going to be Dallas, Seattle, Green Bay, and New Orleans to win the division. Okay. San Fran will be the wild card because I think they're going to lose both games to Seattle, and that tiebreaker will be the factor. So they'll get the wild card. And I think, even though I'm not really convinced, but I think Philadelphia will get the other wild card, only because their schedule is lighter than Minnesota's. Minnesota's got a rough schedule coming up.
It's nasty, isn't it?
Their schedule is pretty rough. Mm-hmm. So I would say, yeah. So I'm going to say Philly and San Fran for the wild cards, because San Fran, I think I'm telling you, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, because all these San Fran fans are popping up out of the woodwork, talking so crazy to me. Oh, what about it this week? Okay.
Listen, there's only one guy that gets a pass, and that's Benny. Benny's the only San Fran fan I really know.
Right, he doesn't know what he's playing.
Yeah. I know a couple actual diehards, but that's it.
It's ridiculous, though. Now all of a sudden, it's just like when Cleveland we thought they were going to be relevant. Now I'm seeing all these Browns jerseys walking around.
Yep.
No, I'm telling you, San Fran, they've had a great year, but I'm telling you, something is got to give, and they're going to have something go wrong, and then I'm going to be like, I told you so, and everybody's going to be like, oh, well, this team. Like, I am not sold. I'm sorry, but Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not sold on that guy at all.
Jimmy G.
You gotta give the team the credit though. They are the only undefeated team left.
That's okay.
So, props,
but that's okay. Watch what they do this week.
This will be a big
night
one
at home. Watch what Seattle does. Watch. I'm telling you. This is
the other secret weapon that nobody's really mentioned, that Josh Gordon going over to Seattle. You get him on the field, and that might change.
Josh Gordon, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
With a Chris Carson that already runs the ball phenomenal.
Yes.
And an MVP quarterback.
He's not wrong.
I
What else do you want?
Did everybody else notice the silence?
What else do you want? Like, I'm telling you, man, that team is going to be.
I was trying to figure out any type of counter to that. Like, well, they're right.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, like
I got
tried
nothing.
anything, and I
The
went,
man is like 78%, whatever it is in betting.
Man,
I mean,
watch.
you got to go.
Seattle is the team. They're going to get. I'm telling you, and everybody's going to look. They're going to expose the holes in San Fran, and it's going to be the blueprint for the whole second half of the season. And everybody's going to do this exact same thing to them.
Kind of off the cuff here. Anybody want to predict the Super Bowl yet?
no.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll predict the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's, God damn it.
It's
gonna be
You did this to yourself, my
New
boy.
Orleans, New England.
There you go.
Ugh.
New Orleans wins though.
Wow.
New Orleans, New England. New Orleans is going.
Wow.
It's their time.
You heard it first here.
It's their time. New England's going back though. It's okay. Like
It's not okay. There's nothing okay about that,
They're not
Ray.
going to win it this time, but they're going back. They're going back.
Moss looks like she's seriously offended. She's like, it's not
Going
okay.
back. Who's going to stop them?
Well, I don't want that team to stop him either.
Who's going to stop them?
This is bad.
It's not going to be Houston. Houston's not stopping them.
No.
This is bad.
Baltimore's not stopping them.
They're not doing that
Belichick
again.
doesn't
Yeah.
lose to any team twice.
They're not doing that
So,
again.
mark
Yep.
my words.
Yeah, they're not
Let
doing
them
that
play
again.
Baltimore again to see what happens.
Yeah.
Watch
Yeah.
that slacking. Watch. They don't lose twice.
Oh boy.
Let me try something here because we have to go to your Ray Nation house money, but I don't know if we have the camera here. Hold on one second.
Nice.
Wah, wah. Well, you know what? We're just gonna do it the other way. Let's see what we got here. Do we have it still? We do. We got to go with this.
Who the hell are you?
Oh,
What did you do?
I cut it right off.
Oopsies.
Yeah.
What the train came out. I was trying to click on Ray's button here and it went over.
All right, well,
go
you messed
ahead.
it up.
Just hit us with the house
All right.
money.
Well, so last week kind of sucked a little bit. Detroit failed me in the final 2 minutes of that game. They played so well, and then at 2 minutes, they gave up that ugly touchdown, made Derek Carr look like a quarterback. It was ridiculous. Tennessee, I'm officially done with them. I'm done. Tennessee,
right.
you will not hear me tell you another bet on a Tennessee Titans for the rest of this year. They are garbage.
Okay.
But regardless, Dallas showed us that the Giants are exactly what we thought the Giants were and absolutely destroyed them. And so that was my one bright spot in last week's picks. But whatever, neither here nor there. This week, here we go. I like Detroit. They're plus 2.5. This is my last chance on Detroit. This is it. Detroit, you better not fail me again. Detroit better win this week.
Go, Matt Patricia.
Plus 2.5. They have to win this game. I mean, there's no excuse anymore. Like, nothing can go wrong. They need it. So Detroit plus 2.5. Baltimore gets a chip shot. They're playing the Bengals, and it's a division game, so you always think that it'll be tough. But no, this is not going to be tough. They're going to blow this team out. They're minus 10. Take it and just enjoy the ride. And last but not least, I'm telling you now, I'm telling you to take Seattle plus 6 on the conservative side because they're playing at San Fran. But honestly, the way I'm feeling, you should take a money line because they are going to beat San Fran. This is going to happen. San Fran is going down. And when they do go down, this is it. Because if they win, If San Fran wins this game, then I got to sit here and say, all right, San Fran is legit, and I do not want to admit that. I cannot be wrong. So take Seattle. Seattle will win this game. They're going to do this. I'm telling you.
All right, man. So there's your house money. And I just realized we totally did it out of order. You're supposed to be going on.
Oh, we totally
right?
skipped Jamie.
Yeah.
You know what? This is all my fault.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. So Seattle loses to San Fran. You will admit.
I will admit that San Fran.
Legit.
If you can beat Seattle, then you're legit. If you can beat them now, I watched them.
So if Tampa Bay had won in overtime, they were legit.
Of course not. Of course not. Come on. Would you say that Tampa Bay is legit?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Come on.
Unbelievable. Let's go to our second break here, and when we come back, I'll try to get the things back rolling the right way. We'll come back with Jamie's house money. How's that sound?
My house money, so I get to do picks too.
Oh, your IR. Your IR.
Sorry. Yeah, why don't you give us your IR instead?
I'll try that. Yeah,
That'll work better. Boy, where am I today? Somebody else. I don't know. Crazy. All right, we'll be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's massively out of order IR. My name is Jamie, and for this week, in a relatively quiet injury week, I had to spread it around a little bit, but the one that I think is the most detrimental to the team was the MCL sprain, thankfully, that came out for Jacoby Brissett of the Indianapolis Colts. First off, let's see what actually happened to him. In the case of the play that we're talking about, he had a lineman accidentally and inadvertently back into the side of his knee, more or less the ankle that actually got hit, and then a kind of continuation pushed him into the knee, which forced his knee to bend inward relatively aggressively, and that's where the MCL injury happened. Now, that's exactly how this type of ligament, based on the location, does get injured. To give you an idea of exactly where it is, if you go to the bottom of your thigh bone, the femur, it is a ligament that holds the inside of the thigh to the inside of your tibia or your shin, and that's what gives you that stability within your knee when shifting from left to right, for example. So the way that the actual injury occurs is exactly what you saw the other day in Indianapolis, where the outside of the knee gets hit forcibly towards the inside, and it stretches that ligament. Usually when that happens, you can get a relatively severe tear. But in the case of Jacoby Brissett, and best case scenario for the Indianapolis Colts, it was diagnosed as just a sprain. Still with the sprain, which if you remember me talking about a few weeks back with sprains are still tears of some sort. It just matters to the degree of the sprain of how much is actually torn. And from the sound of it, this is probably a grade 1, possibly grade 2 type of sprain, where there is still ligament damage, some type of tearing, but it's only a partial tear of the MCL ligament that we're talking about. So there is some rumor coming out of Indianapolis as of yesterday that Jacoby Brissett might play this weekend after that injury, despite being benched against Pittsburgh this past week. Now, my personal recommendation, you have the Miami Dolphins coming into town, and what better way to get right than just let him sit out a week, regardless of if you're going to put a brace on him for stability or anything like that. Why risk the remainder of your season when you're only halfway there by rushing him back onto the field to potentially increase the severity of that injury? Let him take a week or two. It shouldn't take that long with a partial tear. Usually it's only about a week or two, even with a brace on, and he should be fine to go for the rest of the season. So to Jacoby Brissett and the Indianapolis Colts, take it easy this week, and please don't get injured and ruin that season. I am Jamie for this week's IR, courtesy of My Garage Bar and the Disruption Network.
There you go.
That was nice.
Stay off that leg, fool.
Seriously. When I saw that yesterday, I was like, he might play this week. I went, stop. I don't care who. I didn't even know who they were playing at the time until I had to look it up and say, it's Miami on top. You're going to rush them back against a 1-7 team? Stop it.
Hoyer was
Watch
playing
Miami
all right.
win.
Hoyer was actually all right for the most
win
part,
anymore,
but Hoyer's going to be winnable, I think, against the defense of the Colts is good enough that I think they can beat Miami without a problem. I know that Miami's riding high right now, and Fitzpatrick has played well for
They
four
got one
weeks.
win. They're top of the world.
For that community, that really is. But Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins have been playing better, in all honesty, over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So But the Colts defense is far good enough to just totally demolish that. So don't rush him back. Hand the ball to Marlon Mack. Let Hoyer go to town for 108 yards and 47 passes. Who cares? Just don't rush Brissett back and ruin the rest of your season.
Right.
That's it.
True. Very, very true. And I was waiting for Ray Party to jump in that conversation.
Give it a minute.
Give him a second.
I did tell him I'd talk about the Dolphins a little bit, just give him a little shout out because the apocalypse didn't happen after that win.
Yeah. Nothing.
Nothing.
He's leaving us hanging. Oh well. All right. And I should
Ray.
tell people when they type something in, there's like about a 30 to 40 second lag.
Yeah.
Between when they type it here and when we see it, because
Yeah.
I've had people yell at me. They're like, "I keep typing and you don't say my name." Like,
Give me a minute.
by the time it comes up on our screen, we're like past that conversation. So, anyways, to kind of bring this thing home, I told you guys earlier we were going to talk a little bit about the Jets. And the Jets, kind of going back a little bit, they had what they tried to have was a fire sale at the trade deadline, and that was probably the most unsuccessful fire sale I've ever seen. It was like a basic announcement that everybody is available, whatever you want, come get it. And
Nobody's taking.
nobody showed up.
Nobody came.
Nobody showed up, and I'm just really curious now. What does that do to the morale of the team? Because now you have a very salty team. A lot of players in there that know their future, know they're probably not going to be there for the long haul. And, and congratulations, you didn't get moved. So you're going to have to play another, 8 games with us?
Congratulations, we didn't want you on the team, but hey, come back and help us win.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering, really, do you think the Jets were trying to do what the Dolphins kind of are doing?
Oh God!
Wouldn't you?
Such a tough answer.
I mean, absolutely. Listen, tanking is frowned upon, but it's a reality,
It's an inevitability.
and it's kind of unfortunate that 2 teams in the same division are tanking. But
they've just given up on that team, though.
They should give up on something that rhymes with Chase. Oh, Gase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their problem right off the bat.
Because I get another shot to mention Ray because Ray is an avid hater of Adam Gase. Hated him. Anytime that the Dolphins would play, I would get random messages from him last season where it was like, "All right, I'm going to predict the game plan. Here it comes. First down, run for 2 yards. Second down, run for 2 yards. Third down, screen pass, ineffective, punt." That was literally Adam Gase's game plan, apparently. And the funniest part is Ray was usually right on this. So when he got a job with the Jets, I thought the same thing. You pretty much somebody who had success with another quarterback somewhere. Now he's the next Sean McVay. Mm-hmm. So he's the quarterback whisperer. Well, bring him in and he'll help Sam Darnold improve and make that next step in the second year. And you have ultimately regressed, who I personally thought coming into this season was the best quarterback, at least to this point, of all the rookies from last year.
Right.
He was the most natural-looking quarterback last year, and I thought he was going to take a step. You made me look foolish, Adam. Thank you.
He took a step, just not the right way.
Not the right way.
I wouldn't even call that a step. I mean, that's a giant leap and bound and fall backwards at this point.
He fell off the balcony.
So you got Gase. His head's being called for right now.
Yeah.
In New York. I mean, national media, local media, you name it. They're all over this guy. And the worst part of what the Jets did is you're trying to get a fire sale to rectify your mistakes. Your mistakes were you paid a ton of cash for Avery Williamson, IR. He's out for the year. C.J. Mosley, who actually retracted his contract and then finally said, all right, that's a lot of money. I'll take it. And Le'Veon Bell, for example. Jamison Crowder's getting paid like a demon for no production in Washington. What the hell did you pay him for? So you spent all that free cap money and wiped it out. So now the Jets are in for a long, ugly haul. That they just have to sit on either dead cap and bad players, or just ride out the money that they already had. They're in a lot of trouble going forward. So the fire sale was trying to rectify the issue. Mm-hmm. Problem is, nobody took it. Every other of the 31 teams in the NFL are geniuses for not touching that.
Absolutely.
Let them fall. Let them fail.
Nobody's going to touch any of that.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever going to touch any of that. I don't know.
And I can see all those players now going, you know what? I think I'm not going to try that hard. I'm not going to go for that pass. I'm not going to make that tackle. They just phoned it in a little bit. Nobody cares anymore. They might have just become the worst team in the NFL. They really might have.
There's no doubt about that.
Going into the week, I actually said Miami's going to win.
I knew Miami was going to win. Yeah, we talked about that.
I flat out knew. We walked in when I walked into the bar this Sunday. I looked at Moss and go, Miami's winning today. They're the better team right now than the Jets, and it's funny to say with all the jokes that we had about the Dolphins a few weeks ago. And I thought the Jets were a far better team week one. They're terrible. This is pathetic what we're watching at this point. They've far surpassed Miami for some ugly football.
And now they go and they play the Giants this week.
Barn burner.
You know, I almost the way they're playing, they're going to get absolutely shithoused by the Giants.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a terrible football team right now.
Is there anything on that team worth salvaging at this point?
Hopefully, Sam Darnold's career, because they've
start out pretty good.
They murdered this kid, and I mean the ghost things. Let's make jokes about it all you want as far as it goes, but I mean seriousness. Even with that, you put him in position to see the shit that he's seeing at this point. Yeah. I hate to say it that way, but I have no better words, and it's like almost angering to see that. But you put him in this position where he's overwhelmed. And we're talking 12 months after he looked massively comfortable.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to me. So hopefully they can just fire him, get anybody in there that will save this kid's career.
Crazy how in such a very short time they just bottomed out.
Yeah. And trade Bell.
Ray, you got anything to add?
Bring back Rex Ryan.
Can't hurt, right?
Hey,
that's
why
the last
not?
time they made the playoffs, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Bring back Joe Mancini.
Or you can get Mark Sanchez. I'm sure he's around.
Oh, Mark Sanchez.
He's available.
Yeah, and Rex Ryan, since he's probably still got that tattoo, right? Didn't he have
that was the.
We need Mark Sanchez back. We do.
Sanchez was
because there is many a butt that has not been fumbled against since he left.
That is true.
Yeah, we need that back.
Yeah, the Jets. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, they gift New England 4 wins every season, just playing Miami and the Jets.
The Jets. Yeah.
That's just that you look at that schedule and you're like, all right, so we're 4-0. How do we get the next 12? Like that's what you say to yourself when you're looking at their schedule.
Who else do we
what
play?
The hell, man.
You automatically start the season 4.
It's ridiculous.
They
like,
play the games
before we. Oh man.
And every year, all the Dolphins fans on the Jets are, we'll probably. This is going to be the year we split.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's unbelievable.
It took a botched kickoff last year for the Dolphins to beat the Patriots. You remember that thing? That was just lateral after lateral after lateral, and Rob Gronkowski realizing that he is getting a little older and couldn't keep up.
Honestly, I don't even want to talk about the Jets.
Yeah, did you hear the disdain over there? Yeah.
Sorry, Jets fans.
I'm sorry for you, Jets fans. I'm sorry that you are Jets fans. That's what I'm sorry about. I'm sorry that this is the team that you decided to follow. Yeah. You should have hitched your horse to a better wagon because.
Hitched your horse to a better wagon.
Beautiful.
Stuck in the mud.
Oh my Lord! I think on that one we're gonna end the show because you can't
beat it.
That.
It's over with.
That
right
was
there.
good. That was really good.
Great stuff. Anyways, once again, thanks to the guys from Disruption for letting us come in here and do what we do. Appreciate that, and everybody that turned in and listened to us chat for a little while. Appreciate that. Also, don't forget to comment. Tell us what you think about our picks tonight. Would love to hear some reactions, and maybe even if you've got some of your own, let us know what they are. Maybe we can talk about that too next week.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? So, all right. So for Rich and for Ray, and did I just say for Rich? Yeah.
Yes, you did.
It's been that day, man. For Ray and for Jamie and for Moss. I'm Rich, and we'll check you out next week. Enjoy the games. I am the hell out of here. See you, people.
Later.
We out.